This is the actual true story. This is how to get an A plus in a study skills class for college and then fail out of college. This is exactly what I did. If you follow this recipe, maybe it'll work for you too. I hope you don't follow this recipe. So my name is Seth Perler. I'm an executive function coach. I wear a lot of hats in the executive function, neurodiversity, ADHD, and those sorts of worlds. And I'm going to tell you how I got an A plus in study skills and then failed out of college. So the first thing that I did is that I didn't try in high school. So freshman and sophomore year in high school, I was able to fake it pretty well. I was able to skate by, really get my parents off my back and just pretend I was doing well enough. I could do homework at the beginning of class and turn it in 5 minutes later and just like get something turned in, or, I could cheat. There were like all sorts of things that I could do to basically not try in high school. Thus, cutting my own education short because I didn't put the effort in. So really losing out on a lot there. So that's how I started. Then my grades were really bad in high school. And I don't know how low my GPA is. I have some memory of it being something like 1.6 or something. But my SAT and ACT scores were good. And I wanted to move out of my parents' house. I wanted freedom. I thought I was so mature. And just like everybody who I went to college with, we all thought we were so mature. And so basically, I could not get into a college. And one college, Ball State University, let me in on probation. So I literally, like, my grades were so low, but my test scores were good enough that they let me in on probation. But I had to go in the summer. So this means that after my senior year in high school, I did not have a summer break. Let me say that again. After my senior year in high school, I didn't have a summer break because I had to go straight into a probationary program at the university in order to prove myself. Now, here is the next thing that I did. Whenever things were really bad, I always made it look like I was doing well, to get my parents off my back or whatever, get out of whatever trouble I was in. So in this case, what I did was I got into this probationary program and I did really well in it. And I had to take 3 classes that summer. And those 3 classes were study skills and then 2 other classes I don't remember. And so study skills, when I got an A plus in study skills, and then the other 2 classes I believe I got C's in. Whatever it was good enough to get in for the fall. So yeah, that's a true story. So I do really well in that study skills class. I get in for the fall, and then I start the fall. Now, this is my recipe for what I did for the fall. Meanwhile, this recipe wasted a lot of my time and money and energy. I burned bridges and wasted my parents' money and their time and energy and a bunch of stuff like that. But here's the story. I go on probation. My feelings were really, I was really confused at that time in my life. I didn't know, what I wanted. I knew I wanted to not live at my parents' house and I wanted to be free, but I really felt, I didn't feel good about who I was. And I didn't feel good about me, and I didn't feel good about my possibilities for the future. It just wasn't on my mind. I just didn't have the maturity to really be thinking about it. So my executive function skills were not non-existent, but they were really lacking. I wasn't using a calendar or a planner, and if I wasn't using it well. I did go to class, and I did take notes, and half pay attention in class and half daydream. But I did go to class. What I didn't do is I didn't get organized. I didn't study. I didn't do homework. If I did homework, it was because I got to class and somebody said, "Oh, did you do the homework?" And I was like, "Oh no, what do we have to do?" And then I would like maybe try to do it at the last second if I could get away with it. And so what else I did is that I worked very hard on lying to myself. Like, I worked on lying to myself. Like, I really had to deceive myself and get myself to believe that there were just that I didn't take things seriously, and I didn't, I wasn't honest with people about what was going on. And I was just a chameleon. I just acted like what I thought so nowadays, who I am, I'm the same person in different places, different contexts. Then I'd be a different person in different circumstances. I just really tried to act the part that I needed to act, whether it was with teachers or friends or parents or family or whatever, and so I had to really work on lying to myself. Now, the other thing I did is I lied to my parents, and I lied all the time about a lot of stuff, and that really hurt our relationship. I also blamed people. Like, I blamed everything on something or somebody else. Every problem I had, I blamed it on somebody. I never took responsibility. And if you were to ask me at that time why it was happening and what was going on and why are you failing out of college, I would tell you I honestly don't know why. I really didn't know why. I just didn't know. That's the real truth of the situation at the time. But basically, what happened was that I went in the summer and passed the probationary program so I could go in the fall. And then the fall semester, I failed. I don't know if I failed all my classes, but I failed the semester, the whole semester. Spring semester, I failed the whole spring semester, and that's when they kicked me out. So basically, they write you a letter, and I got the letter that says, basically, you're no longer welcome at Ball State University. Your grades aren't good enough. Bye. So if I had to do it all over again, I would do some things differently, and that's what I'm going to tell you right now as well. And I did do things differently. Not if I had things to do, when I did things over. I did things differently. Here's what I did. First of all, I went for the right reasons. When I went at first, it wasn't because I really wanted to go to college for me. But when I went again, it was because I wanted to go. And it doesn't matter if you go to college or not. There's so many opportunities. There's so many cool things in life. But for me, I wanted to go to college because at the time when I went back, when I was like 25. So I was 18 when I started. Then I failed out, went to another college, dropped out of that one before failing out. And then I just like got jobs and stuff. But what happened was that I found something that mattered to me, that I was passionate about. Ironically, it was working with kids. And I decided I wanted to become a teacher. So I went back to school, went to a community college for a while. And I went for the right reasons. So I went to the community college, and then I got into the Indiana University after the community college and getting my grades up and what have you. And I loved community college too. I mean, the people were really serious about learning. The teachers were awesome. And I was there for the right reasons. Another thing that I did is I asked for help. So by this time, when I went back, I was ready to ask for help. I would ask anybody for help. Teachers, TAs, professors, tutors, the writing center, parents, friends in class, people I didn't even know in class, anybody at any of the offices at any of the buildings. I was willing to ask for help. Will you please help me? I don't know how to do X, Y, and Z. I was just willing to ask for help because I was now had something that I was passionate about, and that mattered to me. Next thing that I did was accountability. I am not very responsible, so I needed accountability. And to this day, I use accountability in many ways, whether it's friends, study groups, tutors, office hours with professors, whatever. I will show up for accountability. So I pack my life with accountability. So that really helps me. So accountability was my next thing that I did differently. The next thing I did is I set myself up for success. And anything and everything I could do to set myself up for success, because in the past I set myself up for failure because I didn't build out executive function systems I needed or any sorts of systems. Now I was like, I'm going to make the most awesome study space ever. So, I just built this desk out of a door and got this cork board, and I just made like a really great study area for me where I could concentrate and not be distracted. I would go to libraries, find cool places in libraries to study, anywhere I could. So I set myself up for success in a lot of ways. I also got organized and reorganized. Like it takes me so long to organize things. That's part of why I'm a minimalist nowadays, because it just takes my brain so long to organize. But what I would do is I would just reorganize my folders and backpacks and stuff all the time because I just wasn't good at it and I would lose things. So I had to do that. So that's the next thing that I did. The next thing that I did was scheduling. So I thought of school as that. Now, I did have a job. Or different part-time jobs, but I thought of school as my number one job. This is the most important thing right now is school. That is my job. And what I did is when I would schedule, I didn't know how to do this before when I failed out of college, but what I did now is I scheduled my time. And let's say that I had a class that went from, let's say, 10 a.m. to noon, and then I had a class at 3 p.m. Well, you better believe that from noon to 3 p.m., I was somewhere studying. or reorganizing or trying to wrap my head around what was going to come up in the next class or whatever. But I was using those blocks of time and really scheduling my time. I really scheduled here's the thing. I know myself. And I know that for me, it felt like I had to work 10 times harder than all the other people in my classes to do just as well. So I was willing to put in 10 times more time or whatever. I'm sure I didn't, but I scheduled my time so that I had very large blocks of time to really try to focus. And I would get distracted. I would lose my focus and stuff like that. But when I had really big blocks of time scheduled in, then I had enough time to focus enough so that I could be successful. And the last thing that I want to tell you that I did is I didn't listen to everything that my mind told me, because my mind will set me up for failure. My mind tells me great, awesome ideas sometimes, but sometimes my mind completely lies to me. And I just learned that I can't listen to everything that my mind says. When my mind's like, yeah, you can procrastinate on this. Like, I would want to have an excuse and blame somebody and go with that procrastination. But I didn't listen to everything my mind said when it said procrastinate, or when it said, cut corners here or there, or don't, or do this fun thing instead of this thing for your real goal. Like, I just didn't listen to all the chatter in my mind. And so I started noticing that I can't believe everything in my mind. Like, they're just thoughts. And some thoughts are really helpful and some are not. And I started to be able to understand that I don't just have to have a thought and then do whatever that thought tells me. Anyhow, I hope that was helpful for you. Again, my name is Seth Perler at sethperler.com, or you can find me on YouTube, or executivefunctionsummit.com is my summit. And I got a bunch of tips and stuff and freebies and what have you. Check out my site, sethperler.com, for some freebies. If you like what I'm doing, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up, like it, leave a comment below. What do you think? Have you failed before? Have you failed in school? Have you failed in any context in life? What was your recipe for failure? How did you do it so well? And then what did you do differently if you changed that thing? I want to hear what you have to say in the comments. Let us know so that we don't have to repeat those mistakes. You have a fantastic day. I want to wish you peace in your heart. I want to wish you joy, and I want to wish you connection with the people you care about. Have a fantastic day. Take care.